For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is the Scribble Podcast. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com, on SoundCloud, and on iTunes. Lots of new listeners. Just want to give you a shout-out. Thanks to everybody who's emailed in or tweeted or whatever, or however the hell you reach out to us. It's great to have you here. Now, last week, we had Dan Giesling and Rachel Riley from Big Brother. The week before that, we had a tribute to Jim Ed Brown, the legendary country singer who passed away. And then the week before that, it was Ladies' Night. Now, we were supposed to do this episode and that episode back-to-back. We had Ladies' Night, and then we had Men's Night. But unfortunately, some things came up, and we've had a bit of a shuffle on the schedule. So today for Men's Night, and this is where it gets really good, is that it doesn't get any manlier than this. So we've got Jerry Springer. He's the ringmaster from daytime TV. Of course, everybody knows who Jerry Springer is. And Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania and WWE. He's going to be joining us as well. So it doesn't get really doesn't get any manlier than that. Then you got me, right? The little scrawny kid from Canadian prairies. Just trying to eke out a living doing podcasts and newspaper columns and best-selling books and radio shows and all that other fun stuff. So, again, we're online at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at thescribbleshow, so hopefully you will be following along on there. And, we've got to take a quick break, and then when we get into it, it's Men's Night here on The Scribble.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com.
Thank you.
Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns.
Yay.
That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
All right, so what is dribbling this week? I have to say, I was at a pub, a sports bar, with my accountant the other week, and it's kind of funny because the hockey playoffs were on, and then, of course, you have one of those UFC matches, and it's really interesting to watch something like that while you're eating at a restaurant, because this particular match, and I honestly don't know exactly who the guys were, I really don't know any of their names, but certainly, there's just blood everywhere, and even the waitress, or server, I guess they're called now, even the server was like, is that blood? Like all over the ground and all over their, bodies. And I just thought, I don't get the appeal of this. I really don't. And not that I'm a big, manly man, because I'm not, but I don't know why you'd want to put yourself through that. I freak out if I stub my toe, just get the slightest bit of an injury. I couldn't imagine what that would do to my body, having somebody just wailing on me. Now, again, full disclosure, I've never been in a fist fight in my entire life. Junior high, high school, adult, never knocked the living crap out of anybody and never had it done to me. So maybe I just don't know the thrill of it. And I sense that, with my now full disclosure, that we could be losing some listeners here on the show. But really, I don't get it. And I understand the entertainment value of watching, again, something like Jerry Springer because it's funny and you see those idiots, cold cocking each other. And even wrestling, we've got Hulk Hogan coming up in just a few seconds here. But the UFC kind of stuff that, there's just blood everywhere. It's just, I don't know. Boxing, again, a little bit different. It's padded, right? There was a couple episodes ago on The Bachelorette. Oh, here we go. Men's night, and I'm talking about The Bachelorette. They were boxing, but it was almost just like a fist fight. These guys were just... I think that they blurred the line, and Robin Thicke's going to come after me for that one. But it just... I don't know. These guys were just wailing on each other. It wasn't boxing at that point. It was like a fist fight just with padding. That's what it was. So anyway... All right, so as I mentioned earlier, Jerry Springer is coming up in just a few minutes, but let's go to the celebrity phone because we got to talk to Mr. Hulk Hogan.
Celeb spotting on the Scribble.
WWE star Hulk Hogan joining us on the line. Hi there.
What's up, my brother? Thanks for the time today.
Well, no problem. Thanks for joining us. Now, you're a legend and idol, really, to so many people. I just turned 32, and for as long as I can remember, my brothers and I sitting and watching with my grandpa. He loved it. Give me the backstory, though. How did you get involved in wrestling?
The backstory is, brother, 30 years ago at WrestleMania 1, you're sitting there in your diapers watching me.
Yeah.
Backstory, dude. So I've been around forever. Actually, I started wrestling before you were born, so there was a lot of Hulkamania going on before... you ever saw it, so you don't know the backstory, but I started out as a musician, brother. I was playing music, rock and roll music. I was a studio musician in Atlanta. I was always a huge wrestling fan, and as the wrestlers would come in to hear my different bands play in different cities, I kind of made friends with them, talked them into letting me have a tryout, and the first day they broke my leg, and the rest is history. I'm here.
And I guess I should back up a little bit even more to the fan appeal of wrestling in general. I mean, it spans generations. Grandparents watching with their grandkids, like I said. So why do people love wrestling so much?
Well, it's the ultimate entertainment package, there's so many choices in the world today with cable and satellite TV and reality TV and global TV and marketing. And, I mean, there's just the internet and all the crazy stuff on YouTube. There's so many entertainment choices that the WWE is like the total entertainment package. It's not like a boxing match or a UFC match that might last 1 minute or one round or 30 seconds. When you put your money down on the WWE, you're going to get the 24-hour network. You're going to get, the entertainment package that won't let you down. If it's a pay-per-view, it'll be 3 hours long, and it'll just deliver. So I think it gives people, in the world today a chance to vicariously forget any issues they have, whether it be problems, good or bad, and just kind of live vicariously through the entertainers in the WWE. That's why it's so popular.
I've got to ask, though, for those people who say that wrestling is fake, what do you say to those people?
Well, I say it's the wrong word. I say, wrestling's predetermined. We know who's going to win or lose, but, if you say it's fake, maybe they could explain to me why I've got 2 knee replacements, 2 hip replacements, and 9 back surgeries. It's fake.
You're right. Those injuries are very real. Let's talk about that, though. What sort of training and preparation goes into a match then before you hit the ropes?
Oh, for me, I just make sure I'm in good shape. I've always, once you get in the ring and you get your balance and your coordination and you know where you're at, you're a professional and your timing with hitting the ropes and everything is good. That's all the preparation I need. I don't talk. I don't prepare. I don't choreograph a match. The greatest wrestlers of all time, it's an art form where you listen with your heart and listen with your ears and you do what is correct for the building and the atmosphere. The ambiance needs to be created, the drama, the energy, the excitement, and so the greatest wrestlers are the ones that play to the crowd. A lot of other wrestlers, that don't really understand the art form or haven't been around long enough try to, plan things out or walk through it, contrive matches, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just having the mindset and the energy to walk out there going, okay, I got this. I'm going to tear this down, and whatever they think I'm going to do, I'm going to give it to them times 10.
And your personality and your look and everything, your signature colors, really. I think you're the first real man to make a red and yellow boa look cool. Tell me about your look and how that came about.
I kind of stole it from Ronald McDonald, he was strutting around with the red and yellow forever, and it worked for him, so I stole it. I tried different colors. I went with the red, I went with the turquoise, and I went with the white. But the one thing that always stuck out in my mind as a kid when I used to go to the wrestling matches was a guy named Angelo Poffo. He was Macho Man Randy Savage's father.
Right.
And I remember no matter what wrestlers wrestled, no matter what matches they had, how much they were bleeding or how long they were, how crazy the matches were, it didn't matter who was the main event. The one thing that always stuck out to me was this guy with this unbelievable tan and these canary yellow trunks on. And that was Macho Man's dad, Angelo Poffo. So when the time came right, I said, something, I'm going to try those canary yellow trunks. And brother, did it ever work?
It did. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that kids always have looked up to you, and I mentioned earlier, in our family that certainly was the case. Kids seem really important to you, Hulk. Why is that?
Well, at the end of the day, I came up with this really positive character, the trained prayers, vitamins, the all-American hero from California. I had no idea, that I was going to be branded a role model. So when it first started happening and the kids were coming to me, I wasn't ready for it. And then I got to the point where I understood what was expected of me, and I got used to it. And the Make-A-Wish kids were coming, and, I understood what I meant to these people and what I had to do. And what I was doing was from my heart. And then, the kids kept coming to me, and they still come and see me, 35 years later, and I'm just grateful for it. But, the thing that's more important is someone like John Cena, who has taken over, where I said the training, prayers, and vitamins, he says hustle, loyalty, and respect. He's kind of raised the bar. He's taken over where I left off. So it's really important that these new wrestlers understand that it's more than just a job. These kids look up to him. Cena has raised the mark and really made it obvious that these wrestlers are role models. So it means the world. I mean, to have the kids looking up to you, to have the kids follow you, it all of a sudden takes you from just thinking business to thinking, serving people and helping people. And that's much more important than just being a businessman.
That's right. The legendary Hulk Hogan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, my brother.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you can make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? Yes. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can make almost twice as much. Going back to college is now easier than ever. There are select online colleges that provide laptops to their students. In fact, there are thousands of college programs on your laptop. You can go to college anywhere and everywhere right from a laptop. Call My College Laptop, and you can find hundreds of programs from accredited colleges and universities nationwide. Start a new career in law enforcement, business, information technology, healthcare, and hundreds of others. Call My College Laptop to find an online college that will provide you with a laptop. In no time at all, you could double your earning potential. Double your earning potential. Call now. 800-928-1811. That's 800-928-1811. 800-928-1811.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Thanks so much for joining us on Men's Night. And I have to say, Hulk Hogan started the interview as Hulk Hogan, and then he sort of just got into his regular personality in regular life, which is great. Thrilling nonetheless, gotta say. To get Hulk Hogan on the phone, never would I have thought, as a kid, before even doing radio, that this guy that I would watch when I was, 4 or 5 years old with my family, I'm going to be talking to on the phone. Granted, I have not met him. We just had a phone conversation, but still, that's pretty cool. Now, coming up again, Jerry Springer, another show that, how could you not enjoy growing up as a kid? I know as a teenager. I'm going to tell you this story, which is probably going to get me in trouble. Jerry Springer, when I was in grade 11, I believe it was when those Too Hot for TV videos came out. Now, of course, anybody who's in their teens or 20s right now has no idea what I'm talking about. But remember the Too Hot for TV VHS tapes? Well, of course, you had to be 18 to rent them or buy them. And so I had a friend who was over 18 when I was in high school, and he had those tapes. So I made a business. I'm totally going to get in trouble. I made a business out of renting out these tapes. So back when you had VCRs, let's rewind for everybody. These were these cassette tapes that you would put in and you'd watch a show. Well, I would hook up 2 VCRs together and dub them. So I made copies of them and basically had my own video store. Because at the time, I think there was 3 or 4 videos for Jerry Springer's Too Hot for TV. And, of course, teenage boys were like, hey, this is our first time to see boobs. Because remember, the internet was not really a big thing back then. Dirty magazines, okay, sure. But to actually watch, a girl lift up her shirt and things like that was incredible for teenage boys. Now, guys are having sex long before that age with the teenage girls. If you've ever watched TLC, you know that. But certainly I made a lot of money renting out these Jerry Springer VHS tapes. So that was my first sort of sense of business savvy, and look what I've turned it into, right? Best-selling books, syndicated radio programming, newspaper columns. It's just been incredible. I pat myself on my back for that one. All right. So yes, we are going to hear from Jerry Springer coming up in just a little bit. Let's take a break, and then we'll hit the celebrity phone right after this.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Celeb Spotting on the Scribble.
He is the ringmaster extraordinaire. He has seen it all. He has heard it all. Jerry Springer is joining us on the show right now. And I've got to say, with 20-something years on daytime TV, right?
Yeah, we're in the middle of our 24th year. So, yeah, it's now the longest-running talk show. And I guess next year it'll pass Oprah's record. So, yeah, this is... we've been on forever. We're starting to get the children of our original guests on the show, which is really wrong because these people were told not to procreate.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And here we go.
I think
we're getting their kids on now. So, it's a crazy show. I mean, it's the craziest show on television. That's for sure.
What I love about it, though, is that you just have to ask one question, and then it's like pulling a string, and then you just let them go at it, right?
Oh, yeah. If I'm talking a lot during the show, then the show's dying.
There's a problem.
The best shows are the ones where I don't have to say anything.
Now, what is it? I know that people don't take your show seriously, but I mean, a serious question is all these new talk shows that come out that last 1 season, 2 season, what is it about yours?
Well, probably because we're so crazy, we have that niche to ourselves, and no other show wants to go there, that have trouble getting sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So we've kind of cornered that market of, total dysfunction and craziness, and so we kind of own it now, and also, the show is aimed at young people, high school and college age. Well, if you have a show that's aimed at young people, you can be on for a long time because there are always new young people that are suddenly old enough to watch.
Right.
You do a show aimed at 30-year-olds. By the time they're 32, they're bored with the show. They've seen it. But if you do a show aimed at 16-year-olds or 14-year-olds, each year you suddenly have kids that are suddenly 14, 15, and 16 that, oh my gosh, because their tastes have changed by the time, between 12 and 16, your tastes change. And all of a sudden, you got got the giggle factor, and you kind of watch when mom's not home, that kind of thing. So that's why I think every year we get a new audience.
Does anything surprise you anymore?
No, but I don't think it's because of the show. I mean, I don't think you can be a grown-up in today's world and honestly say you're surprised by anything. I mean, you may be surprised that it happens to someone you know, but there's no circumstance that I could describe that you as a grown-up would say, I never knew that existed, you know?
Right.
I mean, look, all you have to do is open any newspaper in America on any given day, and by the time you get to page 3, I've got 20 shows.
Yeah.
You know, it's so there's, you know, nothing is shocking anymore.
Well, I'm sure you also get a lot of questions about, you know, are these stories real? Are the people fake? I mean, these are truly real people that come on your show.
Yeah, we don't get that too much anymore because it's obvious now. It's all real. I mean, as I said, just look at the newspapers, you know.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought, whether you're talking Bill Cosby or anything else, who would have thought any of this stuff? It just is always a shock.
Are you gonna try to get Bill Cosby? That would be a great show for Sweeps.
We don't. You can't be on our show if you're known.
Oh.
So our show is totally non-celebrity. In fact, we even let the guests use fake names. You know, they don't have to use their real name. So, you know, we're not trying to out anybody. The show is for entertainment, but it's not to, you know, make any person uncomfortable.
What do people hope to get out of coming on your show? To be on TV and have their...
Honestly, I think it's, you know, they grew up with it. It's just a hoot to be on, you know. They want to let off some steam, so they come on our show. I mean, they know they're never going to be... They're not coming out for fame. As I said, they use disguises and fake names, so no one's trying to get famous. They just come on the show because they're fans of the show, and, you know, it's like a hoot to be on for... And it seems like for a couple of days, someone in their life, someone is paying attention to them, and, you know, so many of these people are never asked a question. No one ever cares what they think. You know, they don't have parents who want to know their opinion. They don't have kids who want to know their opinion. They don't have a job where someone's asking, what do you think we should do? You know, and now for 1 week in their life, they're the center of, you know, we care what their story is. They're being treated like they count. And I think probably at some psychological level, that's the attraction. Not fame, but attention.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny you mentioned about the generations, and my grandpa had died a few years ago, but I remember we were in the hospital visiting him, and you've got my grandpa, my dad, my brothers, and me watching. Well, he loved wrestling; that was his first favorite, and then Jerry Springer would come on. So you've got 3 generations of people watching and having a laugh at your show. So that's got to be pretty cool.
I apologize. I've ruined the culture.
Hey, but you know what? It brought a smile to an old man's life, so that's what matters.
Well, I realize. I mean, look, the show is silly. It is what it is. But I realize people enjoy it, and that's obviously why it stays on the air. But it is crazy, and I've never pretended it's anything but.
So the Jerry Springer Show airs in syndication, right? So check your local listings for that.
Yes, yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, the legendary ringmaster Jerry Springer, thanks so much for joining us today.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. A couple of weeks ago, I told you this story about a teenage guy who, with his girlfriend, he went to a bar. She wasn't old enough to go. And apparently, either somebody caught him with a picture or whatever, holding hands with a girl. Now, he insists that he was drunk and she was just taking his hand and helping him through the bar. Apparently, others saw it a different way. He did not understand why his girlfriend was upset by this. Imagine that, right? 18-year-old guy, 17-year-old girl, I should point out. Well, she's apparently 18 now, and I ran into him at a community barbecue, actually, not too long ago. And I was asking how things are going, and he said that they're still together. She's 18 now, and now they can both go to the bars together because the drinking age is 18. And they had a bit of an incident, or he had one. She went to go get her phone fixed, or some sort of a phone problem, so she went to the store. And a 30-some-year-old employee there gave a business card as to somebody to reach out to in the future if she ever had any problems, right? Seems innocent, doesn't it? But for some reason, the 18-year-old girl told her boyfriend about this, who's also 18, and he then became very jealous. And so I had to sort of laugh because when you think about it, he's holding hands. He's physically touching a girl and didn't quite understand what the problem was with that. Whereas this employee was just being nice. Now, again, we don't know the flirt factor on it, but maybe girlfriend is just sort of throwing this back in his face as a bit of a jealousy barb, right? And so now he's getting worked up because this employee was nice and gave her a business card with his contact information on it. Is that drawing the line? Is that inappropriate? You know, I totally don't wish I was a teenager. Growing up these days with texting and with social media and with all the drama that's going out there, I do not envy these people who are just now going through their teen years and going through high school. It seems incredibly hard. I don't know. So tell me your thoughts. One, holding hands, was she right to freak out on him? I actually said to him, like, well, yeah, she kind of has a point, and I think now he sort of sees that. And then now the tables are turned that, you know, she has this guy who gives her a business card, and it was on a professional level as far as I know. Keeping in mind I'm hearing one side of the story, so I'm not playing one side or the other here. But now he's jealous because an employee has now given contact information. So it just brings out your insecurities, right? Seriously, that's one of the reasons why I also avoid, Facebook and Twitter, because I feel so bad when I see those people having these like public breakdowns about how my life is so crummy and how, you know, nobody loves me, and then these rants where it's the flip side of that, where it's like, I am woman, hear me roar, I am strong, I'm going to delete everybody, I'm trimming my friends list, and I don't get it. It's very odd to me. So anyway, we have one more very brief break, and then we are going to wrap up this week's podcast. And then I'm going to tell you, we've got a very, very interesting show coming up next week. I can't wait to tell you about it. We go ladies' night, men's night, and something really cool coming up next week. Let's talk to Larson, though, about Twitter.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Thank you, Larson. Yes, I guess I'm a twit geek. I don't know. A couple weeks, or I guess, was it earlier this week or last week, I hit 3,000 tweets. So I guess I'm not that much of a geek, because I only really got onto Twitter about a year and a half ago, and I think I'm more into that than I am to Facebook. I've never really been that much into Facebook, because that seems more intrusive than a short tweet. Okay, now I don't post anything about my life. You'll see pictures of my dogs on my Facebook page, and then stuff about our radio shows and newspaper columns and books and things like that. But never is it like going out for dinner with so-and-so and things like that. So at least on Twitter, I can just blast out links and promote our stuff and make more money, right? That's kind of the beauty of Twitter. But I don't know, I just find Twitter to be more fun. Yes, Facebook is more involved, and it's got a little bit more depth to it in terms of things that you can post and things you can do, whereas Twitter, you got your 140 characters, and really that's about it, right? So I do embrace Twitter a little bit more than I do Facebook. Now, just a few seconds ago, I mentioned I was going to preview about what's coming up next week. Now, we never know because of scheduling on this thing. If something happens and we've got special guests joining us, the plan goes to shit, right? I can swear on here, right? Yes, I can, because we're not on the radio. My first swear on air ever, by the way. That's not true. First one that's ever aired on air. There we go. So we had a men's night, ladies' night. We've got boy and girl bands joining us in the next little while, okay? So we've got Howie D from Backstreet Boys. We've got Mel B from Spice Girls. We've got Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees. Now, if you've tuned into our radio shows, you know that Nick is he's a thorn in my side. When we have him on to talk about the Sing-Off, NBC's reality singing competition, he gets more of a response from our audience than I do, and I host the damn show. So I'm going to play you some of those clips where he's surprised me and just really been a It's all in good fun, but he's kind of a jerk when he calls in. So we're going to hear from that. And then we're also going to check in with Hanson. The Hanson brothers, you know them. They're all reproducing, and they've got 30 kids each now. We're going to be talking with one of the Hanson brothers as well. So a walk down memory lane with the boy bands and girl bands. So Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, 98 Degrees, and Hanson, all in 30 minutes coming at you in the Scribble podcast. So again, we're at thescribbleshow.com. We're on SoundCloud and iTunes. On Twitter, at The Scribble Show. I don't know if there's anything else I need. I'm just a link whore is what I am on this. But definitely check out our website, and you can see the links to all of our other fun stuff. So follow on Twitter and check out our Facebook page, because you get, I love Facebook, right? Facebook.com/speakfreemedia is the page. Facebook.com/speakfreemedia. I am done vamping and filling time, so I'm going to wrap things up right now. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you same time, same place next week.
Want
Bye-bye,
more
everybody.
Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,